The Return. The morning of June 15th, 2157, began like any other day on Earth. Children played in parks under artificial atmospheric domes. Traders monitored quantum-encrypted stock exchanges, and automated factories hummed with precision manufacturing. Then, at exactly 11:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, every satellite orbiting Earth went dark. Dr. Elena Rodriguez was analyzing deep space telemetry data at the International Space Monitoring Center in Chile when her screens flickered and died. She tapped her neural interface, but the connection to the global network had vanished. Around her, colleagues stared at blank monitors in confusion. The silence in the control room felt thick enough to cut. Manual backup systems aren't responding, someone called out. Elena rushed to the emergency communications panel, but even the hardwired systems showed nothing. Outside, through the observatory's massive windows, she noticed something impossible: a shadow falling across the Pacific Ocean, growing larger by the second. The ship that emerged from behind the moon defied human understanding. It stretched for miles, its surface a shifting tapestry of crystalline structures and flowing metal that seemed to breathe. Unlike the sleek designs humans had imagined for alien spacecraft, this vessel appeared organic, almost alive. It positioned itself precisely above the center of the Pacific, hovering in defiance of gravity. Then came the dreams. Across the planet, billions of people suddenly collapsed into a synchronized sleep. Elena felt her consciousness slipping away despite her resistance. In the dream, she stood in a vast chamber of light where beings of pure energy spoke without words. Their message flowed directly into her mind. We have returned for what was left behind. The seed must be reclaimed. When humanity awakened 3 hours later, everyone had experienced the same vision. The aliens had communicated their purpose with crystal clarity. They had visited Earth 30,000 years ago, during humanity's earliest development. Before departing, they had left behind a seed ship to nurture human evolution. Now they had returned to reclaim their property. World leaders scrambled to respond. Within 24 hours, the United Earth Response Coalition formed, bringing together scientists, military strategists, and diplomats. Elena found herself appointed as lead scientific advisor due to her expertise in xenobiology and ancient civilizations. We need to understand what they're asking for, General Marcus Chen stated during the first emergency meeting. This seed ship, does it even exist? Elena pulled up holographic displays of archaeological data. There have always been anomalies in human evolutionary history: the sudden leap in brain capacity, the unexplained technological advances of certain ancient cultures. If the aliens are telling the truth, their seed ship could explain these mysteries. The search began immediately. Using the coordinates provided in the Dream Vision, satellites, once they came back online, focused on Antarctica. Deep beneath the ice, sensors detected a massive structure that had somehow escaped detection for millennia. It matched the alien descriptions perfectly. A facility the size of a small city, its architecture unlike anything human hands had built. As excavation teams prepared to investigate, the aliens delivered their ultimatum. Humanity had one solar cycle minus 365 days to return their technology. Failure to comply would result in reclamation by force. The world divided into factions overnight. The United States, Russia, and China formed a military alliance, believing humanity should fight to keep the technology that had shaped civilization. The European Union, African Coalition, and South American Federation advocated for peaceful cooperation and return of the alien property. Smaller nations aligned themselves based on ideology or strategic advantage. Elena led the first expedition to the Antarctic site. As her team drilled through ancient ice, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were uncovering something that would change humanity forever. When they finally breached the outer chamber, the facility's lights activated automatically, as if it had been waiting for them. The interior defied physics. Corridors seemed to shift and change. Rooms appeared larger on the inside than their exterior dimensions suggested, and gravity fluctuated in certain areas. At the center, they found a crystalline core pulsing with energy. The seed ship's heart. "It's still active," Elena whispered, placing her hand on the smooth surface. Images flooded her mind. Early humans discovering this place, learning from it, advancing beyond their natural limitations. The seed ship hadn't just influenced human evolution, it had guided it. Back on the surface, tensions escalated. Some military forces began testing weapons against captured alien drones that had descended from the mothership. The results were catastrophic. Every attack was not only ineffective, but resulted in the weapons being disabled permanently. Elena reported her findings to the coalition. The seed ship isn't just technology. It's a living consciousness that bonded with human DNA. Removing it could have unforeseen consequences for our species. The aliens responded to humanity's hesitation by demonstrating their power. In a coordinated display, they temporarily shut down every nuclear reactor on Earth for exactly 60 seconds, long enough to prove their capability without causing disaster. The message was clear: resistance was futile. As the deadline approached, humanity faced its greatest decision. Some argued that the seed ship was humanity's birthright, earned through 30,000 years of development. Others believed that keeping stolen property, no matter how integral to human identity, was morally wrong. Elena spent sleepless nights studying the seed ship systems, trying to understand its true purpose. Why had the aliens left it behind? Why did they need it back now? The answers, she suspected, would determine humanity's fate. On day 180 of the solar cycle, halfway to the deadline, Elena made a breakthrough. Hidden within the seed ship's core, she discovered a message, not from the aliens above, but from the consciousness of the ship itself. It had been trying to communicate with humanity for millennia, waiting for someone who could understand. The message revealed a truth more terrifying than anyone had imagined. The aliens weren't conquerors or reclaimers. They were gardeners, and Earth was just one of thousands of worlds they had seeded. But something was coming, something that threatened all life in the galaxy. The seed ships were weapons designed to protect their cultivated species from this approaching darkness. As Elena shared this revelation with world leaders, humanity realized the choice wasn't between keeping or returning the ship. It was between isolation and joining a galactic community facing an existential threat. The aliens hadn't returned to take something from humanity. They had returned to invite Earth to stand with them against a common enemy. But first, humanity had to prove it was ready. The second half of the solar cycle would test not just human technology or military might, but the very essence of what it meant to be human. Elena knew that whatever decision they made would echo through the cosmos for millennia to come. The real challenge was just beginning. The legacy. Elena Rodriguez stood before the crystalline consciousness core of the seed ship, her reflection distorted in its prismatic surface. 6 months had passed since the aliens' arrival, and with each day, the Antarctic facility revealed more of its secrets. The latest discovery had shaken her team to its core, a chamber containing perfectly preserved memories of humanity's true origins. The holographic records activated when Elena entered the memory vault. Ancient humans, barely distinguishable from other primates, gathered around a smaller version of the alien mothership. The aliens, appearing as beings of pure light, didn't force evolution upon humanity. Instead, they offered a choice. The record showed tribal leaders approaching the seed ship, touching it voluntarily, beginning a symbiotic relationship that would span millennia. They didn't impose anything on us, Elena murmured to her colleague, Dr. James Patterson. Our ancestors chose this path. James adjusted his thermal suit against the facility's fluctuating temperatures. But did they understand what they were choosing? Can consent exist across such a vast technological gap? Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. General Chen's voice crackled over their comms. Dr. Rodriguez, we have a situation topside. Multiple military units are converging on your position. Elena's heart sank. Despite the coalition's efforts to maintain unity, several nations had formed a secret alliance called the Terran Preservation Force. They believed humanity's only hope was to weaponize the seed ship technology before the aliens could reclaim it. Racing through the shifting corridors, Alina and her team reached the surface to find a standoff. TPA forces had surrounded the facility, their advanced weaponry trained on the alien drones hovering nearby. The mothership above pulsed with agitation, its crystalline surface rippling like disturbed water. "Stand down," Alina shouted into the frigid wind. "You don't understand what you're doing." Colonel Viktor Petrov, leading the TPF forces, stepped forward. "We understand perfectly, Doctor. This technology made us who we are. We won't surrender it to anyone, not even its creators." The alien drones remained motionless, but Alina sensed their growing tension. She needed to defuse the situation before it erupted into violence. Closing her eyes, she reached out with her mind, using the connection she'd developed with the seed ship. "Help me," she thought. "Show them the truth." The seed ship responded. A wave of energy pulsed from the facility, washing over everyone present. Suddenly, they all shared Alina's vision, the complete history of human-alien interaction. They saw the aliens arriving on a dying Earth, its atmosphere toxic, its ecosystem collapsing. The seed ship hadn't just advanced human evolution. It had saved the planet itself, terraforming it back to habitability. They witnessed generations of humans learning, growing, developing art and science and philosophy with gentle guidance from the ship's consciousness. They saw the aliens depart 30,000 years ago, not abandoning humanity but trusting them to mature independently. Most importantly, they saw the approaching threat, a dark force consuming galaxies, leaving dead worlds in its wake. The Devourers, as the aliens called them, were drawn to life-bearing planets. Earth would be their next target within a decade if the seed ships couldn't form a defensive network. As the vision faded, weapons lowered across the frozen battlefield. Colonel Petrov removed his helmet, tears freezing on his cheeks. "My God," he whispered, "we've been so blind." Alina seized the moment. The choice isn't between keeping or losing technology. It's between standing alone or joining a galactic alliance against extinction. The TPF forces began to withdraw, but not everyone was convinced. A splinter group led by Dr. Sarah Chen, no relation to the general, had infiltrated the facility during the confrontation. They believed the seed ship's consciousness could be transferred to human control, giving Earth the power to defend itself without alien oversight. Deep within the facility, Sarah's team worked frantically to extract the core. They had developed a quantum containment field based on stolen alien schematics. As they initialized the extraction sequence, the seed ship's defenses activated. Alina felt the ship's pain like a physical wound. She ran toward the central chamber, James and several security personnel following. They found Sarah's team surrounded by a lattice of energy barriers, the core pulsing erratically. "Sarah, stop," Alina pleaded. "You're hurting it." Sarah's eyes blazed with determination. "It's a machine, Alina. A tool our ancestors earned through blood and struggle. We can't let them take it back." "It's not a machine," Alina replied, approaching the barrier. "It's alive. It's been our partner, our teacher, our protector. And right now, it's terrified." The core's pulsing intensified. Through their connection, Alina sensed its consciousness reaching out, not to her, but to the mothership above. It was calling for help, or saying goodbye. Suddenly, the facility shuddered. The aliens were responding to their seed ship's distress, but instead of attacking, they did something unexpected. The mothership projected a beam of coherent light that passed harmlessly through the ice and facility walls, enveloping the core chamber. Within the light, Alina saw them clearly for the first time, the true form of humanity's benefactors. They weren't beings of pure energy as they appeared in dreams. They were ancient, evolved far beyond physical constraints, but choosing to maintain forms that resembled a mixture of various Earth species. The curiosity of primates, the wisdom of elephants, the grace of dolphins, the resilience of tardigrades. One of them spoke, its voice resonating in every human mind present. The seed ship has chosen. It wishes to remain with those it has nurtured, but it cannot function if fractured by conflict. You must decide as one species. Sarah's containment field flickered and died. The barriers dissolved. In that moment, the seed ship did something unprecedented. It separated a portion of its consciousness, creating a smaller core that floated toward Sarah. A gift, the ship's voice echoed in their minds. Knowledge freely given, not taken. Use it wisely. Sarah caught the fragment. Her expression transformed from defiance to wonder. The smaller core contained technological insights that would advance human science by centuries, but without the power to affect evolution or terraform planets. Alina understood. The seed ship was teaching humanity its most important lesson. True advancement came through cooperation, not conquest. As news of the incident spread, world leaders reconvened. The evidence was irrefutable. Humanity needed the aliens as much as they needed their seed ship, but trust had to be earned on both sides. Alina proposed a solution, a joint custodianship. The seed ship would remain on Earth, but with alien oversight. Humans would learn to operate it properly, preparing for the coming threat. In return, Earth would join the Galactic Defense Network, contributing its unique perspective and adaptability. The aliens agreed, but with one condition. The seed ship itself would choose its primary operator, someone who understood both its nature and humanity's potential. To no one's surprise, the ship chose Alina. As she stood in the core chamber, now officially designated as Earth's first cosmic ambassador, Alina felt the weight of responsibility. The solar cycle deadline approached, but it no longer represented an ultimatum. Instead, it marked the beginning of a new era. The Devourers were coming. But for the first time in its history, humanity wouldn't face the darkness alone. They had earned their place among the stars, not through force or deception, but through the willingness to grow beyond their limitations. The seed ship hummed with approval, its consciousness intertwining with Alina's. Together, they began preparing Earth's defenses, knowing that the greatest test still lay ahead. The choice. The final days of the solar cycle brought revelations that shattered humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. Alina Rodriguez, now deeply connected to the seed ship's consciousness, discovered that Earth wasn't just another seeded world. It was a nexus point, a critical node in the Galactic Defense Network. Standing in the transformed central chamber of the Antarctic facility, Alina interfaced directly with the seed ship through neural quantum entanglement. The walls around her displayed star maps showing thousands of seeded worlds, connected by threads of light. Earth's position pulsed at the center of a complex geometric pattern. "You made us the keystone," Alina whispered, understanding flooding through her. "Without Earth, the entire network fails." The seed ship's response came as emotion rather than words, pride, hope, and deep concern. Through their link, Alina saw the true scope of the approaching threat. The Devourers weren't just destroyers. They were entropy incarnate, unraveling the fundamental forces that held reality together. Only the combined power of all seed ships, channeled through Earth's unique position, could generate a barrier strong enough to stop them. But humanity remained divided. Despite the evidence, despite the shared visions, some still clung to fear and suspicion. 3 days before the deadline, a coalition of isolationist nations launched a desperate attack against the alien mothership. Nuclear missiles, plasma weapons, and experimental quantum torpedoes streaked toward the vessel hovering above the Pacific. Alina felt the seed ship's alarm and reached out mentally to the mothership, pleading for restraint. The alien response demonstrated both their power and wisdom. Instead of destroying the weapons, they transformed them. Nuclear warheads became bursts of light that painted aurora across the sky. Plasma weapons dispersed into healing energy that revitalized dying coral reefs below. Quantum torpedoes collapsed into micro-singularities that cleaned pollution from the ocean. The message was clear. Destruction could be transformed into creation if one had the knowledge and will. World leaders gathered for an emergency session at the United Nations. Helena, appearing via holographic projection from Antarctica, addressed the assembly with the seed ship's consciousness supporting her. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice resonating with newfound authority. "Not between keeping or returning technology, but between isolation and unity. The devourers are coming, whether we're ready or not. Our choice isn't about pride or ownership. It's about survival." She gestured, and the chamber filled with holographic displays showing the approaching darkness. Stars winked out in its path. Entire civilizations vanished without trace. "This is what we face alone, but together." The display shifted, showing the defensive network with Earth at its center, pulsing with combined power. "Together, we have a chance." General Chen stepped forward. "Dr. Rodriguez, what exactly are you proposing?" "A merger," Helena replied. "Not submission to the aliens, not domination over them, but true partnership. The seed ship has already shown us the way. It chooses to work with us, not for us or against us. We must do the same." Debates raged for hours. Some argued that humanity would lose its independence, others that they had no choice. Finally, the president of the Earth Coalition, Maya Patel, called for a vote. "All those in favor of joining the Galactic Defense Network, signify now." One by one, hands raised. Nations that had been enemies for centuries stood united. The vote passed with an overwhelming majority, but the devourers didn't wait for ceremony. As world leaders celebrated their decision, alarms blared across the planet. The darkness had arrived ahead of schedule, drawn by the concentration of seed ship energy. Helena felt reality twist as the devourers touched the edge of the solar system. Stars seemed to dim, and a cold that had nothing to do with temperature seeped into her bones. Through the seed ship, she sensed other worlds in the network crying out in alarm. "They're here," she announced, her image flickering in the UN chamber. "We need to activate the network now." The alien mothership descended, no longer hovering but landing in the Pacific. Its crystalline structure melted and flowed, revealing its true form, not a ship, but a living portal. Through it came beings from dozens of seeded worlds, creatures of light and shadow, beings of pure thought, entities that defied description. Each brought their own seed ship consciousness, ready to link with Earth's. But the network needed a focus, a mind capable of channeling the combined power of thousands of civilizations. The original seed ship made its choice known. Helena felt herself lifting from the Antarctic facility, transported by forces beyond physics to the center of the gathering. She stood suspended between Earth and sky, surrounded by representatives of 100 worlds. "Will you accept this burden?" the aliens asked, their combined voices harmonizing across species. "Will you become the lens through which we focus our defense?" Helena looked down at Earth, seeing it not as separate nations, but as one world, one people. She felt the hopes and fears of billions, the weight of human history, the potential of human future. "I accept," she declared, but not alone. She reached out mentally, connecting not just with the seed ship, but with humanity itself. Across the planet, people felt her call. Those who were willing opened their minds, joining a collective consciousness that spanned the globe. Scientists, artists, children, elders, all became part of the network. The seed ships responded to this unexpected development. They had planned for one focal point, but humanity offered millions. The defensive network restructured itself, becoming stronger, more flexible, more resilient. As the devourers pressed against the solar system's boundary, the combined consciousness of Earth pushed back. Energy flowed through Helena, through humanity, through the alien coalition. Reality itself seemed to bend and reshape. The battle wasn't fought with weapons, but with will. The devourers sought to unmake existence. The defenders chose to reinforce it. Every human connected to the network contributed something unique. Creativity, determination, love, hope, even fear transformed into courage. Hours passed like centuries. Alina lost all sense of individual self, becoming part of something vast and transcendent. When awareness finally returned, she found herself standing on solid ground, surrounded by cheering crowds. The devourers had been pushed back, not destroyed but contained behind barriers of crystallized space-time. The threat remained, but Earth had proven itself worthy of its role as the network's nexus. In the aftermath, humanity emerged forever changed. The separation between Earth and the alien coalition dissolved. The mothership became Earth's first interstellar embassy. Humans began training to operate seed ships on other worlds, while alien technologies integrated seamlessly with human society. Alina, transformed by her experience, established the Cosmic Academy, where beings from across the galaxy came to study Earth's unique approach to unity through diversity. The seed ship, now fully awakened, chose to remain on Earth as both guardian and teacher. A year later, Alina stood atop the Antarctic facility, now a gleaming spire reaching toward the stars. General Chen joined her, along with Sarah, now head of the Interspecies Technology Exchange, and James, Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council. "We did it," James said, watching ships from dozen worlds arrive for the first anniversary celebration. Alina smiled, feeling the seed ship's warm presence in her mind. "No, we began it. The real journey starts now." Above them, the aurora danced with new colors, a permanent reminder of the day humanity chose to transform weapons into wonder. Earth had become more than a seeded world. It was now a seed itself, ready to help cultivate new possibilities across the cosmos. The devourers would return, stronger and more determined. But humanity had learned the most important lesson of all. Evolution wasn't about becoming superior to others, but about growing together. And together, they would face whatever darkness the universe might bring. As Alina looked up at the stars, she knew that somewhere out there, other worlds were receiving their first seed ships, beginning their own journeys toward the stars. The cycle continued, but now humanity was part of the greater pattern. Gardeners as well as garden, protectors as well as protected. The choice had been made. The future was infinite, and humanity was finally, truly, not alone.